If you shop online, and everybody I know does, you know it's cheaper. That's usually because, in part, taxes don't come into play. But now the federal government might change that to help close the budget gap. So is that fair to you? Fox News legal analyst Peter Johnson Jr. is here with more. Peter, it's those senators in Capitol Hill.
And a lot of us consumers may be looking like some of those Olympic athletes making faces when they really understand this. They're calling it the Marketplace Fairness Act. And what they want to do is require online retailers to collect sales tax from the state to which a product is being sent to. So if I'm buying something in California,
right,
and the retailer is in New Jersey,
right,
but I'm sending it to, say, Wyoming,
right,
or New York, then I've got to pay the New York sales tax because that's where it's going to wind up. And so people like Senator Jim DeMint and a couple of others are saying in the Senate, hey, listen, this is really, in effect, an internet tax. This is, in effect, the ability of states to tax people in other states. This is taxation without representation. And this is the state government going wild, trying to close their budget gaps on the backs of consumers that are going online.
Sure.
So now, if the company you're buying from is, say, from New Jersey, and you live in New Jersey, then you've got to pay the sales tax.
That makes sense.
Okay, and a lot of online retailers do, in fact, collect sales tax. But now they want to set up this gigantic, enormous machine by which the state capitals and Washington gets together and says, no, we're watching you. You better pay those sales taxes.
And why is the Senate doing this? It's because that's where people shop these days, and it's a gigantic loophole they feel, and they need money to fund Washington. Peter?
Go ahead.
I'm going to quote the Supreme Court.
Say that what the Supreme Court says.
The Supreme Court ruled in Quill versus North Dakota in 1992 that retailers can be required to collect state sales taxes only in states where they have a physical presence. That proves your point.
It does prove my point, but also you can pass a law that overrules the Supreme Court. And that's what they're trying to do. They say the internet has become explosive, that this is a terrible loophole. It's helping all of us. The critical question becomes, how do we balance states' interests on bloated budgets versus economic growth? Do we want to stop people from buying on the internet? Is that what we want to do? They say we want to protect the small business person in America who are getting beat up by these online sales. But the numbers don't really show that, in my view.
All right, very good. And they just want a piece of the pie because a lot of people are shopping online.
Tax, tax, tax. Representation counts, though.
There you go.
Good to see you.
Thank you, Peter Johnson.
Be well.
Interesting. All right, meanwhile, you saw what happened.